we go. First of all, mate, appreciate your time. Very, very much so. Appreciate Littland's time as well.
Yes, thank you for having me.
She is the main lady here. We got
That's right.
third fittest lady, reigning fittest man. That's badass.
That's right. It's a big title. It's a beefy title. Yeah, I'm still getting used to both of those things.
Has that sunk in?
No, I think it'll sink in as the season goes on and whatever notoriety comes with being third, like maybe I'll be in the documentary this year or at an open announcement, and then it might sink in a little bit more. But right now, life is very much back to normal, that it feels like I went to the games, but I can't tell the difference between getting third or 11th or 14th just yet. But it's fun because I still have the memorabilia to like remind myself that I got it. Like I'll walk past we have the belt on the dining room table. So I'll be like, oh, I did get that. Yeah, I forgot about that. Then it'll sink in different times.
I think that's one of those things that 99.9% of the population of the world will never understand, right? Hit that level of achievement and then come back home to normality.
Yeah.
We might get a promotion and then we come back home and then that's kind of it. You might crack a bottle of champagne or have a high five with your missus and then it's over. We crack on, we go to work Monday.
Right.
That is third fittest on the world, mate.
Yeah, and not many people where I live in Midland, Texas, understand CrossFit or get it. So very much so, the games is its own bubble, and then I come back to reality with like shopping in the grocery store. Nobody cares. Going to touches of reality, like games is great. Everybody like knew who I was at the games, and now in Midland, Texas,
Yeah,
nobody cares. But it's humbling.
yeah. Do you think it's better that way or no?
I think so. Because I think if it was similar to the games, I would be like a hermit in my house at all
Yeah.
times. Be like, don't talk to me. I can't leave. But it's very free out here. What about you? Did you watch the games?
100%. Like, my missus
Yeah.
has just realized that there was actually a sport around this whole adult PE thing, right? She
How
only started
fun.
CrossFit maybe January, February time. And I was
Oh,
like, oh yeah, the
okay.
games is coming up. She's like, what's the games? I was like, oh, it's basically where like a lot of people do some fitness and we watch. You're like, oh, why would you
Right.
do that? It's like, oh, we crown the fittest people on earth. He's like, and then you
Yeah.
got to explain, obviously, a little bit of the background.
See,
And
that's how it is people here in Midland, Texas. When you describe it like that, you're saying correct things, but it
yeah,
sounds preposterous.
yeah. It's
Yeah.
like, well, what do you do? Well, that's a great question. Like a lot of the things they don't know. It's like, what do you mean they don't know? It's like,
Right.
well, that's the whole point. We're supposed to be able to do everything, So we do,
Exactly.
I don't know, you watch the lifting event, right? Oh, this is cool. Yeah, strong people. And the next thing you know, you're running 5K. It's like, why are they running? It's like, oh, that's the point, babe. They're supposed to be able to do everything.
You
But
just
yeah,
like
we
pat
were.
her on the back. You'll get it one day.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, you know how it sucks when we go to class? Like, yeah, this just sucks a little bit more.
Yeah. This people pay to fly over there to have people watch them do the
Yeah.
class. Like, it makes no sense. But a lot of our Uber drivers, even at the games in Madison, Wisconsin,
Yeah.
didn't know what CrossFit was. So
What?
we'd get in the Uber and they're like, what are you here for? And we're like, we're here for CrossFit. And every Uber was like, oh, yeah, that's like Iron Man, right? And we're like, no, do you have Iron Mans over there?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So I was like, no, that's so far removed from it, but you just like play along. Yeah, it's similar.
Yeah, it's just some fitness thing. Yeah, we ride
Hmm.
bikes.
Exactly. We swim a little bit.
That's crazy. Like it really does like highlight to us, right, who are so deep in a community of like, oh, it's everywhere. Everybody knows what it is. And mate, I get probably one every other week person just walking into the gym like, what is this? I was like, what do you mean? What is this? What is this like CrossFit thing? And I was like, oh, you never heard of it? Like, no. I'm like, oh, okay. Let's
Wow.
let's teach you guys. Let's come watch a class. Sit down. Like 3 points to the triangle, right? Like gymnastics,
Right.
weightlifting, and some sort of monostructural work. We kind of like to live in that cross section, do everything. It's
Hmm.
I don't know. I find it cool, but also a bit scary. It's like, have we done a disservice and not shoved it in people's faces enough? Or,
Right.
or maybe we haven't taught people enough, maybe we dropped the ball that way.
Yeah. It's a fine line because I very much know what it is because I'm
Yeah.
actively involved in it.
Yeah.
But also, I feel like people perceive CrossFit as a cult in itself. So I'm like, if we attack it harder, it's like, man, that's trouble.
It's like, what's the first rule? Tell everybody that you do it.
Exactly.
Wear the
Exactly.
headbands and the wrist wraps and,
Yeah.
your lifters. Walk to the grocery store with your lifters on. It's like, what is this person doing?
What's
Don't
this?
worry about
Yeah.
it.
Worry
Yeah,
about it.
it's
They're
fine.
new shoes.
Yeah. They're stilettos. It's the new thing. Maybe that's a way of making some cash, like basically saying to the average Joe that a lifters are stilettos and they're the new thing.
It'd be smart. I mean, I feel like a pair of lifters could last you your whole life. I
Yeah,
don't wear them that much. I don't know if you do or your members do.
not really.
Yeah. So if you
No,
could get people to buy more, then the companies would make more money.
for sure.
Yeah.
Sell them on eBay, Amazon,
Mm-hmm.
mate.
All the good stuff.
Flip it. So we were talking about balance,
Yeah.
trying to find a healthy balance.
Yeah.
Have you
That's where
found it?
I'm at right now. I have not found it yet. I last week was the first week back after the games. So I was like, I'm just gonna move and sweat. And this week was the first week I sat down on Sunday and started programming again. And I programmed it as to what I'm used to, which is games training. And I sent it to
Mm.
my workout partner, and he's like, oh, we're training for the games again. And I was like, crap, that's not what I need to be doing right now. So I'm having to put boundaries on, okay, this is what I did training for the games. I can't hold that level of fitness all year. So now instead of like 40-minute stimuluses, I've cut it down to it has to be under 30 minutes and I can only do one strength piece a day. That's it. And already I'm like, no, I didn't do more. I didn't do more. And I have to talk to myself like, no, you just need to be healthy right now.
Mm.
When the next competition comes, I'll ramp it up as it gets closer. But the adjustment from games volume and loving how I performed and felt to now like everyday normal life volume should not be that heavy. And if I want longevity, I have to do it. But it's like a battle with the heart and mind right now. I was like, it should not be this hard.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that's beautiful for the average CrossFitter to hear. And even someone who's not doing CrossFit, because we'll watch the games, right? And be like, oh my God, they've done 12, 14 events across X amount of days. They're working out constantly, and then they
Right.
get the documentary series leading up to the games. Like he's training 7 hours a day. It's like, yes, but not all year round, not every
Yeah,
day. Like you can't, you'll end up
exactly.
breaking.
Exactly. And that's what I even had to look at as I'm like talking myself down from this cliff is it started probably in March, slowly ramping it up for semifinals. After semifinals, June and July was like a steady increase, getting used to the volume.
Mm.
The games was hold on to the volume, and then it's like a crash afterwards. So you just can't sustain that.
Mm.
I trained for it and I prepared for it. I felt like perfectly. But now that I'm on the flip side, I'm like, I can't, like you said, as a normal person, I can't do that all the time.
Yeah,
It's not
for
healthy.
sure. Definitely ain't healthy.
No, exactly.
Performance and health do not go hand in hand.
Exactly. And that's why I was like, my goal in the off season, quote unquote, is to be healthy, not like fitness focused. Training for the games, focusing on fitness. Now I'm having to turn the lever to health. What does health look like? And I'm like redefining that. Yesterday I had to redefine it and I'm listening to it this week. So I have to turn the lever over, but turning it is difficult.
Sure is. How do you
Mm-hmm.
define health for you?
For me, it's nothing hurts. So like no elbow tweak, no back tweak, no knee tweak, and just getting in the gym once a day and stepping out of the gym. And the once a day, which my limits are 30-minute cardio piece, one strength piece. But health would be I can walk around my house, nothing hurts. I can lift up my daughter, nothing hurts. If I get to the point where I'm training too hard in the gym and like my arms hurt and I can't lift up a case of waters, I'm not healthy anymore.
Yeah. So that's affecting everyday life, right?
Exactly. That's a great way to put it.
Yeah, I think we get it twisted a little bit because we become so obsessed with performance and numbers within the gym and times within the gym that our life becomes training rather than it aiding training.
Right.
Mm.
I had a lady reach out to me a few weeks ago and was like giving me different scenarios. She's like, "You're a mom. Let me pick your brain." She's like, "I'm injured right now, technically. My back is injured, but I want to still perform and compete. Like, what do I do?" And I had to, like, the words I'm telling her, I had to remind myself, like, number one is to be healthy. If you're a
Yeah.
mom and your back hurts and you're going to the gym pushing yourself, like, that's a recipe for disaster. Like, health and functional health is what's important. But it's hard to do, to step into the gym and put aside your pride and do what's written on the board or scale the weight if needed. It's hard to do.
Oh, for sure, it's hard to do, mate. You know, it's
Mm-hmm.
checking that ego, isn't it? Really,
It really is.
and it's hard when it's only you in the gym.
It really
Never
is.
mind.
But it's hard, but it's also easier because I can scale it and there's no pressure. The only person I have to convince is my own brain.
Do you think that's harder or easier than convincing somebody else?
I think it's I think it's easier, but I'm glad I have people who will call me out, like my training partner who just made the comment like, "Oh, we're training for the games again." And I'm like, "Oh crap, this is not okay.
Yeah.
Thank you for that comment. I need to change it." And then my husband, same thing. He'll be like, "Well, how's your elbow?" And I'm like, "Well, it still doesn't feel great." And he's like, "Why are you trying to push it hard in the gym yet? Then like heal, do nothing, just rest, be healthy." So I
Yeah.
have, it's easy for me to talk myself down once someone calls out, like, "Hey, this is too much. Let's adjust it."
Mm. People that ask you hard questions, mate. It is vital, I
They
think.
do. But excuse me, I'm going to do something real quick.
Mate, you do your thing.
But I have two trusted people who will do that. And that's why I love them in my life. I think it helps to have those two and only two people who are trusted and you can kind of rely on.
That inner circle, mate.
Yeah, exactly. A trusted inner circle.
Trusted inner circle. Yeah. Yeah.
Do
We
you have
don't
that?
100%. You know, I say, um, I don't really care about many people's opinions. I really don't. Like
Yep.
it's just water off a duck's back in my eyes. But the people within that inner circle, I will ask them 1,000,000,001 questions and get them to rip me to pieces and be like, right, let's really have it out. Let's have some hard conversations.
Exactly.
And I'll take that not to heart, but I'll take that into consideration, you know?
Exactly. And I think that's what helped so much this past season is I cut down who those trusted people were. So I went from about 10 to this year I now have two.
Wow.
And those voices of reasoning really helped me because I could trust two people and I didn't have 10 people contradicting each other.
Yeah. Has that aided or negatively affected your mental health?
It's helped a ton. But what was the hard part was having the uncomfortable conversations
Yeah,
of,
yeah, yeah.
"This is not working. Let's sit down face to face." And I'm nicely letting you go or nicely saying, "Hey, I'm not coming to your gym anymore." Those were the really, really tough moments. But after those moments happened, it was like peace. I didn't have to worry about this person's opinion or anything.
Yeah, I love it. Something I've been batting around my own brain at the moment is
Mm-hmm.
a lot of us have so much noise in our life, right? We have so many
Right.
like connections that we're not really that connected with, but we're like acquaintances, not friends. You know, they're in a
Right.
circle, but they're not in the inner circle. And it's just
Exactly.
noise constantly shouting. And it's like everybody's shouting, but nobody has anything to say.
Such a great point.
And
Yeah,
I think it
yeah,
affects us, mate. I think it really does. I think it affects us more than we give it credit. And yeah, I can only speak for myself. And I'm like, nah, I can't do this. You know, I
yeah.
can't
I
hear all these opinions. Like it's too much.
Exactly. So I went from after Rogue last year, so November 1st, I had a lot of stuff I didn't love happen training at the gym I was at. So November 1st, I was like, I'm switching only to my home gym. I'll try it for a month. If I hate it, I'll go back to the gym. And then I loved it. Okay, I'll go till December. Loved it. And then I've just trained in my home gym ever since. But it's even so silly as like I can play the music I want and nobody complains about the music I play.
Yeah, yeah,
That is a mental thing that's just gone.
yeah.
I can use chalk and do burpees on the floor and it's okay because I clean up the mess. There's not a voice. It's like silly things that you think exactly like you said don't affect you. But then when you remove yourself from the situation, you're like, wow, there's peace. There's nothing to argue about. There's no drama. There's no anything. You just show up, work out, and leave. Is it that simple?
Well, it should be, right?
Mm-hmm.
It
Absolutely.
forever blows my mind how much of an asshole we can be to each other.
Yeah.
You know, it's like why can't we just be cool? Just don't be a dick. You know,
Right.
life would be a little bit, well, it'd be way better, right? Just don't be a dick.
Right.
You know, it's like, hey
Or
guys,
like,
what do you need? Oh yeah, cool. We can move things around, no problem. Everybody's got their own stuff going on. Let's just have a good time. We all just want to get a little bit of fitness on.
exactly.
That's
Just
it.
work out. That's it. Turn
Just
on the
work out,
music,
mate.
work out, and leave. Yeah. But it's never that simple. And that's what stinks. Anytime you're with people or around people, situations are going to come up because we're human, we're flawed. But
Mm,
I've noticed this past season the less people, the less drama. The more core people you trust around your life in your circle, just the easier it is.
that's for damn sure. You don't need 20 friends. You really
No,
don't.
you
You
don't.
really, really
I'm
don't.
yeah, and even you look, Jesus had 12, one of them betrayed him. So you don't even need 12 friends.
Mate, I go one hand.
Mm-mm.
I can barely count past three.
Yeah.
You know
But
what I
that's
mean?
good. They're the core people who have proven, yeah.
And I think time as well and consistency. Again, like been analyzing my own coaching at the moment, and it's kind of come to a bit of a breakthrough. I've been coaching this one gym from about February time, and it's
Okay.
only about now where some members are finally opening up, right? And I'm like, well, what have I done differently? You know, and it's like, oh well, yeah, there's been some progress here, there's been some regress here. Okay, cool. But the main thing that I think has caused them to open up is consistency.
Mm.
Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, I'm there every week. I ask them the same questions every week. I make sure they're doing all right every week. And inevitably over time, they start opening up, right? And I think it's
Yeah.
the same with people trying to gain that inner circle. It's not just like, oh yeah, Aaron down the road, he's a sound lad. Yeah, I now trust him with everything. It's like, no,
Right.
you've got to show a bit of respect, a bit of love to one another time and time again, and slowly, like a rope, start integrating your stories, right? And you start developing that bond a little bit more.
Yeah. But what's powerful about that, consistency on your end and consistency that they showed up to class every day. The effort on their part matched with your part. Because if
For
you were there
sure.
every day and they weren't there, there's nothing there. So it's neat
Precisely.
that it's a two-person thing.
Exactly. It has to be.
Mm-hmm.
Time heals all wounds.
Right.
I really do think, I really do believe it. It teaches you so much just giving it a bit of time, but we also need to do the work.
Yeah, exactly.
We can't just sit around for 10 years.
Right.
So what's your purpose now?
Now it's just health and family. So health I'm like redefining as I'm getting back in the gym. And then family is just my husband owns a business. So when I was training for the games, the focus was the games. Now I have a little bit more time to be like, hey, what do you need help with?
Yeah, Gene Hunt, yeah.
Okay, I can like help in the yard a little bit more. Cause before I was like, no, I need to recover so I can train again. Now I can do yard work. I can clean my car more if I wanted to, do more house things. Just there's a long list of stuff I could do if I wanted to now. Will I? I don't know. But like today's a beautiful day and I'm like, man, maybe after we chat, I might go like pull some weeds in the front yard. Little things and just enjoying not having a schedule or anything I need to train for.
I think the physiological exertion of the games, right, is quite obvious.
Yeah,
But a lot of the time, it's not talked about what happens upstairs.
right.
What is that like?
The worst part is the unknown. So a lot of this past season for me was at home in the gym, did my cardio piece, my strength piece. Is it enough? I don't know. show up the next day at the gym, cardio piece, strength piece. Am I doing enough? I don't know. And it's the like, I'm giving my full effort physically and I feel it because I'm tired and I'm sore. But mentally, there's always that question of, am I training hard enough? Am I doing the right things for 2 months? And you're like, I don't know till I show up for that one weekend in Madison. And then you show up. And for me, it went great and I did enough. But for others, I mean, they put in just as much work and they show up and it just doesn't come together that weekend. So there's that mental uncertainty. I feel like for 2 months of, I feel like I'm training hard. I don't know if I am. And you just test it.
How do you deal with that anxiety?
I'm not a huge deep thinker. So like I'll have that question and then I'll combat it with, I did my cardio piece and I pushed hard. I laid on the floor dying afterwards.
Yeah.
Check mark. That's good. Yeah. Don't think about it anymore. Strength work. I did my percentages as written. My muscles feel sore the next day. Check mark. Move on to the next day. So as I have those thoughts, because they do come, I just think, okay, I did what I needed to here and here. Don't think about it anymore.
There's a lot of beauty in that, mate. There really is.
Yeah.
And I heard it was on another, I think it was a documentary or a video or something, but Roman ended up turning around and saying, don't think, just work. And I think a lot of us need to take that and apply it to our own lives with many, many things, right? Like we can dig ourselves such a grave and chuck ourselves in it just by like, yeah, but what if this happens and then that happens? It's like, you still got to go outside, guys, and do the bloody work.
Exactly.
You know, sometimes turn it off and get it done.
Yeah. And that's what's nice about the games. I was very lucky this year. I was able, to turn off my brain and just, okay, event 3, I'm just going to get out there and work. Like the intervals workout where you did the jump overs, rowing.
Look nasty.
No strategy. I was just like, this is what I do every day in the gym. Just go hard. Rest for a few minutes and then go hard again. And it made it so much easier because it's like, it's just a workout. Don't overthink it. Jump over the box, get over the burpee, sit on a rower. And it helps you to just mentally like take your brain out of the equation.
Yeah, and you learn your body, right? And the feeling within it, like, hey, if I go real fast right now and I feel like I'm redlining and I'm losing the sensation in my fingers, probably going to pass out a bit here, guys. Maybe I've got to ease off the throttle and then just get to the end, and you learn from it rather than like, oh, no, coach said I got to do 21:15.9. I have to break at this point. I have to hold this beats per minute. And I think it's, great, fantastic. The sport science element has come involved and it really is admirable. But we need that intrinsic feedback. You need the subjective result rather than the objective result. What's going on? How do you feel? Oh, I feel like garbage. Maybe we got to slow down. I don't know.
Isn't it crazy? That I've worked on building that this past season, like the internal voice, listening if I need to go harder or not. So when I have people drop in and if they want to work out with me, I forget that that's not always innate.
Yeah.
Not everybody has that. So if I'm like, hey, the stimulus is work for 40 seconds, rest for 20 seconds when you're doing the minute EMOM stuff, whatever. And it's like 55 seconds and they're still working. And I'm like you got to listen to your body, look at the clock and kind of be aware of what's going on. And I'm like, man, I forget it's not innate. That like sometimes you have to explain it. If it's 50 seconds, that's too much. 40 good, and like adjust as you go. But yeah.
Welcome to my job.
Yeah, I was gonna say I had it with one person and I'm like, how could you handle it with a full class every day?
It's fun.
All of that.
It definitely is fun. You have an option to teach, and I think that's a big string to our bows is we're there to teach. We're not there just to cheerlead. It's like, hey guys, this is the stimulus today. This is what I want you to hit. And then, if you're in one gym for a significant amount of time and you see those people again and again, like you learn who they are and their needs, right? And you're like, okay, you're going to do this today. You're going to do that today. You no longer ask them. You're just like, this is what you're going to do.
And do they listen?
Sometimes, but then,
sometimes
I'm northern and blonde and I kind of put the foot down and be like, listen, mate, this ain't a democracy, this is a dictatorship and, I'm the Führer right now. So we're going to listen. And then usually at the end, they feel a lot better, but they usually explain why. I think why is the best question and the best follow-up question we can give as coaches, and then also as athletes on the other end, right? As let's understand, like I don't know that intrinsic feedback you got. I don't know. I'm never going to feel that, but I can know everything else, which I don't.
Yeah.
Clearly, I could know everything else, but I'm not going to know that intrinsic feedback, right? It's like we need to be able to liaison and communicate with one another and work with each other, right? So
Yeah.
I encourage the athletes to ask me why. I'm like, this is what you're going to do. And they're like, oh, okay, cool. And then I'll say why if they don't ask me, you know.
Cool. Okay.
That
That's smart.
a little bit more, right?
Yeah. And then they're like, oh, he does know his stuff.
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Maybe I'm just, bullshitting my way through.
Hey, if they nod their head and they listen, fake it till you make it.
That's what coaching is, right?
Exactly.
Mate, I got a question.
Mm-hmm.
What do you want to be remembered by?
I thought about that going into the games, because there's more than just your placement on the leaderboard. You have all weekend of meeting people, all weekend of backstage. What happens on the floor is maybe in total an hour put together, but we're backstage 5 days total. I really want to be remembered for someone who saw people. It's like if we were backstage and you were warming up and you asked me a question, I wanted to be able to turn to you, look you in the eye and answer you and ask you a question and get to know you. If you look discouraged, I want to see it and come up if you want that. Just more than just I'm there to compete. I want to love people and love them well. And I had so many instances, which is awesome, because that's what I prayed for success. Who wouldn't pray for success going into it? But I also prayed for opportunities to just love people. And I had so many instances where I was able to, and it was just a beautiful thing. So that fulfilled me just as much as like working hard and getting third place.
Mate, I think it worked. It shone through even a live stream, right? So
thank you.
That worked beautifully well. And I think you've just encapsulated the community aspect of why we chose this thing. We could have done F45, we could have done Ironman, we could have done Strongman, we could whatever. Right. It's like no, we kind of like this thing called CrossFit, right? We get to rub shoulders with people and feel a bit of adversity with them, and then we're gonna high five and say that sucked. I'll see you again tomorrow, and then we get to know each other a bit more. And I think you've just encapsulated the community of the affiliate and really bridged the gap between that and the sport. Which
thank you.
In recent years, it's been quite large, that gap, and it's. I would be lying to say it wasn't difficult to explain that there's a gap, but also there shouldn't be to people in the gym, and it's like, oh, well, how do I, because you're all seeing this and it's hard, right? But I think that is a beautiful way of doing it. It's people first.
Exactly.
And we all like
and that's why you go to the CrossFit class. Like Precisely. You have your noon class, you have your 5:30 class. And I'm like, I'm just going to the big CrossFit Games class, quote unquote, with like the coolest CrossFitters around. But I would be a fool if I didn't try and become friends with Daniel Brandon or Laura Horvath. If I was just so focused in my world that I just too self-focused. Like I made great friends with them this year. And it's so fun because now they'll like Laura's been commenting on my photos. And I'm like, okay, she did like me. We are friends. There's always that doubt. But you show up for the people, you show up to coach the people, you show up to love on the people. I try to treat it as no different.
That's so beautiful, mate. It is people first. If you want to go far, we go together, right? If you want to go fast, go alone. Where do we want to go? We want to go far, right? Because we're only going to be here for, let's pick a number out our ass, 100 years. That's such little time.
It is.
It is the synergy and the connection between one another that actually creates real progress. And if we're ever going to try and improve the, mental and physical health of the planet, then we're probably going to need each other to help us get there.
And in reality, 10 years down the line, people will forget who got podium at the games.
For sure.
I wouldn't doubt it, but I want them to remember something that's more lasting.
People remember how you made them feel, not what you did.
Exactly. They can remember it for like a year or two, but what I did, but after that, they can let go.
They hold on to those feelings, right?
Yeah, they do.
They
do.
Stubborn little buggers. Those human things.
Right.
mate. And also, I have to admit the missus was fangirling, mate. I was like, oh yeah,
That's
I talk,
awesome.
I spoke to that lady on the podcast. She's sound. She's like, oh my god, this is so cool. Look at her go, mate.
That's awesome.
I'll have to let her know. Got a little
But
fangirl.
same with this. I don't know. Do a lot of people come on your podcast?
Yeah, I mean we're
Good.
450 something, 450 something.
Wow. Okay,
Yeah,
good. Good.
yeah. There's
But like I love podcasts because I get to know I would have never known you, met you,
for
because we
sure.
just live on different ends of the pond. But that's awesome.
Yeah, when would you ever rub shoulders? And I think this thing has taught me so much. And when I
Hmm.
say this thing, it's just a place where people can have real conversations, and it's people, it's you guys that teach me so much. And the biggest thing that's come out of it is we have more similarities, mate. People have
Hmm.
more similarities than we do differences. There might be
Right.
a height difference, an age difference, or whatever. You throw whatever definitions and boxes and barriers you want to place in front of people, but ultimately, people want to help one another. People want to be 51% of the time half decent, you know,
Right.
and they want to get to the end thinking, you know what, I gave that a good crack, and let's go to whatever's next.
Right.
There's
And it
so many
mattered.
more similarities. Yeah, bad and bruised, mate.
Yeah.
Scraping around the corner. It's better to die broken.
Exactly.
Right?
Don't tell that to your CrossFitters.
No,
They'll be like, I heard you. I will break down.
yeah, that's it. I try and keep it. I try and keep it on the down low that I
Yeah,
do this thing,
exactly.
but then some of them end up bloody finding out, and they're like, "Oh, I listened to." I was like, "You listen to me enough. You don't need to listen to me in the car on the way to
Even
work."
more.
You
Right.
know, my accent's hard enough to figure out what I'm saying. Just leave it alone. But mate,
That's awesome.
again, this has been an honor and a privilege, mate. I'll let you go outside, enjoy the little things, see the sun. And thank you,
Sweet.
mate. I appreciate it.
Thanks for having me
Congratulations.
on again. Thank you. Hopefully we'll catch up again in the future.
For sure. We'll get a workout in sometime. Like I'm trying to plan
Love it.
maybe next year, trying to plan a bit of a states trip.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, mate. So I'll let you know. I'll fire an email or message or something.
Do it.
Do some
Absolutely.
fitness.
That's right. Most
All right, mate.
important part.
No, for sure. Thank you so much, mate. Yeah, you enjoy that sunshine, and we'll speak soon.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Legend, mate.
Bye bye.
See you later, everybody.